Hi guys! So all 10 episodes of Season 5 Search Party are now out on HBO Max. So I am able to give you my spoiler review. I do have a spoiler-free review written up at MamasGeeky.com, but I thought it's very hard to review this season and this series as a whole, but specifically this season without diving into spoilers. I got a do not reveal list from HBO Max, and so much of it was stuff I wanted to talk about. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put this video out after it comes out so that we can talk about it. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about Search Party Season 5 and how this season completely jumped the shark. But did it work? We're going to talk about it, but if this is your first time here, I'd love it if you take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this, television reviews, movie reviews, trailer reactions, and celebrity interviews. Okay, let's talk Search Party. Hey, Tessa from MamasGeeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Okay guys, so as I said, this video is going to contain spoilers for the final season, the 5th and final season. So if you have not yet watched it on HBO Max, come back to this video after. I really don't want to ruin it for you guys because trust me, this is one where you're just going to be watching it going, is this really what they're doing? Is this where they're going? I out loud said things several times as I was watching going, are you kidding me? They're doing this right now? And they do it. So ready? We're going to dive into those spoilers, guys. So stop the video now if you haven't watched it. Okay. They literally ended Search Party, the entire series, in a zombie apocalypse. Like, what is going on? I was watching the final few episodes like, oh my gosh, they're going for this. Talk about the commitment of all those actors that played the disciples and just anybody who played a zombie in this, but specifically the disciples. They absolutely crushed it. So this season starts off with the fact that Dory has died and now she's come back to life. She died for like 37 seconds and she's newly enlightened, right? Her friends think she's banana pants crazy and they stick her in a mental institution. Well, while she's there, she's just so happy and she just gets everybody kind of under her spell, doctors included, and eventually she does leave the mental institution. She escapes and she goes to see her friends, right? Elliot, Portia, and Drew, and you know, apologizes for all the things she's done to them over the course of the last few years, which is the 4 seasons we saw, which is like making them accessories to murder multiple times over, all sorts of stuff like that. If you haven't watched this show and you're watching this, first of all, I'm sorry I'm ruining the whole thing for you, but it's absolutely worth watching. It's so much fun. But you know, last season she spent kidnapped, and so she had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff mentally, and you kind of spend the beginning of this season wondering, is she crazy or is she truly enlightened, right? Where are they going to go with this, right? So Jeff Goldblum steps in, who's phenomenal in this. He raises the bar to this season so much. He's so good, right? He steps in as a man named Tunnel who has a ton of money and he has his own business here and he wants to go in and fund her, and they want to create a pill that will give enlightenment to people, okay? Obviously, he's doing this just because he wants to get rich. The fact that, one of my favorite parts of this season, guys, is the fact that he totally messes with them and makes them all think they're going to the core of the earth. And he's like, we went down 2 levels. Like, for 9 hours, they sat in an elevator. They're freaking out. I mean, he's so funny, and he's just sitting there, like, screaming, and he's totally in it. I mean, it's Jeff Goldblum, you guys. He's amazing. One thing I will say is I was really upset that he didn't stick around till the end of the season. You know, he leaves right before the zombie apocalypse really starts because of this light pill, whatever you want to call it, is really a jelly bean. It starts to turn people into zombies. But I was bummed we didn't get to see him as a part of the zombie apocalypse. I would have loved to see what happens with Jeff Goldblum. Perhaps he left Brooklyn and he wasn't stuck in that where the zombie apocalypse only happens in Brooklyn, right? It's kind of the ending there. So there's only 13,000 people left in all of New York, and then so that's why Elliot talks about leaving to go to LA. I mean, there's all sorts of just amazing little things that were sprinkled throughout this season that I thoroughly enjoyed. So not only do they go the full zombie apocalypse route, which for me worked, as crazy and weird and twisted as it was, like no one would ever in a million years guess from the beginning of Search Party that this is how they're going to end Search Party as a series. But it's very B, even C level, like horror zombie. And like when they're in like the tunnels, the kid tunnels, and the ball pit, you're just like, what is happening? Like they put stuffed animals all on themselves to run out. Like, come on, that was just so funny. I love that because it's just such bad. It's like a bad zombie movie, which is like bad horror movies are one of my guilty pleasures. So perhaps that's why it worked so well for me. I can see that some people would be like, what is even happening, and not be cool with it. But for me, man, it just really worked. And I was like laughing the whole time and staring in disbelief and going, they're not doing this. When the first mouse, I think it was episode 6, kind of turns into that zombie and bites the doctor, and then the doctor full on turns into a zombie, I was like, are they going to end this series in a zombie apocalypse? Like, they're not going to do that. And they do, okay? I love the way they also bring in so many characters from past seasons and just drop them in little bits throughout the zombie apocalypse and throughout certain places. Like, here they are for like 5 minutes, if that, just sprinkling them all in, which is so much fun, especially when you're in a final season, to just drop cameos in like that. But we also talked about Jeff Goldblum, but Kathy Griffin is a big part of this season as well. She's Chantel's kind of mentor, wife, like what is even happening? I thought that was the strangest storyline when it started. But the fact that it weaved into this whole, I can see the future, or I get messages from the future, and this is what's going to happen. And she kind of gets Chantel thinking she caused the end of the world. And then in that final episode, when you get Chantel and Dory kind of, no, I caused the end of the world. No, I caused the end of the world. I thought that was really, really entertaining and interesting because, of course, we started this whole season off with stuff going on between Chantel and Dory, or whole series, I should say, off. So really liked that. Of course, I love that Dory stops in front of the missing posters for everybody who's missing in New York. I thought that was a great way to do it because, of course, the first episode of the first season is when she sees the missing poster for Chantel, and that's kind of what kicks all this craziness off, this spiral. I do love that she ended up marrying Drew. I thought that was great. I thought it was hilarious how everyone was sleeping with Dory this season. That was just weird. And Elliot. And how about Aspen? Like, what was with this creepy child? Like, they took all aspects of random, scary B horror movies and shoved it all into this season. Like, you get this child who's just obviously completely messed up. And I guess he was there kind of to propel Elliot to really want that pill. And then poor Mark picks up all the jelly beans and eats them. And he turns into, Elliot says, you're probably going to turn into a super zombie. And he's chasing after him. Like, talk about the commitment from him, too. I thought that stuff was all done so well and so hilarious that you're just like completely in shock and disbelief, but somehow it's working. I don't know. This season was bananas. I thought it was so much fun and just completely bizarre and off the wall. And I think that's truly what worked for it. Of course, like I said, Kathy Griffin was phenomenal. Jeff Goldblum was phenomenal. All the little things they weaved throughout the season were just so great. It felt like, of course, this is how it would end, right? Like, I never in a million years would have expected, Dory accidentally creates with her disciples this pill that's going to start the zombie apocalypse. But, like, of course that happened to Dory and her friends because of course it did. Because they go through everything and it's so weird and bizarre. But it was just a lot of fun. You guys let me know what you thought down below in the comments. I tell you, I was completely shocked that this is the route they went, but somehow it worked for me. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think my biggest issues with this season, I was bummed we didn't see Jeff Goldblum during the zombie apocalypse. I think the fact that it jumped the shark so much, some people might completely fall off of it. I think this is going to be a bit divisive in the final 10 episodes, final 5 episodes, of the season, right? The final half of the season, some people are going to be like, what are they doing? This is too much. I thought it was fun, though. I thought it was a blast. But so besides that, and then other issues, it did start off a little slow. I kind of felt like, okay, but where is this season going? What are we doing? And I see, when it all came together in the end, why they did take their time getting there. But it was exciting to have, 4 solid episodes of Zombie Apocalypse. That was a ton of fun. Completely shocking completely insane, but a ton of fun. And I love that they dropped every episode together on HBO Max, because this truly is a season that deserves to be binged back to back to back to back. It's only going to take 5 hours. Absolutely worth it. I do give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I did have some issues. I felt like it was a weird ending to the series as a whole, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought it was a lot of fun and a great way to end everything, because of course it would end with the zombie apocalypse. Why would it not? It was so nice of everyone to go back for Portia. It was funny when they were looking in her eyes and they're like, she's brain dead, she's brain dead. And she's like, no, I'm fine. Oh, Portia. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review after you have seen Search Party Season 5, which hopefully you have before you watch this, because I totally give everything away. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. What did you think about the zombie apocalypse? Was it too much for you, or was it just the right amount of crazy for Search Party to bring this season? And be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. You can follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at MamasGeeky over there. MamasGeeky. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.